Avengers!
Assemble.
GM, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in this wonderful planet, whether you're on Mars or planet Earth. Thanks for tuning in to another weekly Dogelon Mars Space. And guys, if we haven't met yet, my name is Chin Sandy, and I'm your co-host for these spaces alongside of Dogelon Warriors. And Dogelon Warriors will be with us. I know he's having a little issues with his connectivity, and man, Space has been rugging a lot. So anyways, he'll be here, and glad to see everyone here. A lot of homies I see week in, week out. Unity, what's up? Edwin, what's up? Marco, what's up? Mamek, hopefully you're doing well. Hopefully the move at Bali is going well, my man. Again, guys, we have an amazing show for you today. If you notice, I was playing the OG Mario soundtrack to start this amazing space. And today we're going to talk about the future of Web3 gaming. Guys, I know you've seen probably in your timeline everything about Web3 games, airdrops, tokens, Web3 gaming is dead or whatnot. But anyways, we're going to unpack this with some amazing guests and panelists and speakers we have here today. And guys, I can't wait to get started. I just can't wait to get started. But before we do, if you guys could do us a huge favor, hit that bottom hand right corner. If you guys could like, comment, repost, bookmark, all those goodies. That would go a long way to promote this wonderful space across crypto Twitter, across X, and just to promote this wonderful Dogelon community. And also, the reason why we're talking about Web3 games, I'm sure you guys seen in your timeline, but recently Dogelon has partnered with another game to put their amazing character on another game called Extro. So check that out, check that post out. And also, we have, you guys are familiar with Meme Alliance. We're patiently waiting for that Dogelon character to be in Meme Alliance. And man, Meme Alliance, you're doing us dirty, man. Every time I watch a video about the gameplay, you always have someone headshotting Dogelon, man. What's up with that, man? What's up with that? But anyways, before we start, I just want to check in real quick with my guests here. And let me just check in, with my friend Teddy. Teddy, thanks for being on the show, my man. What's up today? How you been?
Hey, you're gonna have to loop back to me at the end, because I'm in the restroom, so I'm sorry.
Oh, no worries. Teddy, we actually have a community member on Dogelon. His name is Mars Classified. He's always listening to our space in the bathroom, so totally understand that. Sorry about that. How about, let me go to Second World. I believe we have Crispy Bacon on the Second World account today. What's up?
You are correct, Chin. GM, how are you doing? I'm at the airport, but I'm not fading this space, so I'm very happy to be with you. I hope you hear me loud and clear and excited for the topic today.
Amazing. And Crispy Bacon, hopefully you're not on the airport bathroom, right?
No, not in the bathroom. I'm having a little beer with a bocadillo of jamon, actually crispy.
Oh, let's go. Well, thanks for being on the show, even though you're traveling in the airport, and safe travels to you, Crispy Bacon. Let me check in real quick. This guy needs no introduction with Meme Alliance. I believe I'm talking to Almoshi on the Meme Alliance account.
That's correct. Hey, thanks for having us. I'm at home and not in the airport or in the restaurant, so I'm comfy.
Amazing.
Well, thanks for having us. But no, it's not always Dogelon getting headshot, by the way, but maybe that's just lately since we have been creating some new content, right? And maybe Dogelon coincidentally is being shot in the head pretty often. I'm sorry about that. I'll make sure that we don't do that too often anymore.
Oh man. I just can't wait to use that character and then just shoot the other meme coins, man. I can't wait. We're gonna stream that, guys.
Pretty soon.
Let's go. We're definitely gonna stream that. Appreciate you being on the show, Meme Alliance, as always. Let me check in real quick with my friend Lenny, who was speaking on the space on Monday. Lenny, on behalf of Metal Clash, what's up, my man? How are you doing today?
Doing good. Still hustling.
Let's go. And Lenny, I know you're in Asia, so thank you for being on the space. Yeah. Cool. Oh, also we have a few more guests here. Let me check in with Isaac. Isaac, we connected a couple of weeks ago, and he asked me, he wanted to speak on spaces, and then he's in gaming, so yeah, I'll look check in. Isaac, what's up, my man? How you been?
Hey, hello. How you guys doing?
seated here in my workspace and happy to be here.
Amazing. Yeah, thanks for being here, Isaac, and love that interesting background there. Hopefully you're doing well. Amazing. Yeah, thank you for being here. Okay, yeah, hopefully Teddy is done with his trip. Teddy, what's up, my man? Just want to check in with you real quick.
Hey, what's going on, fellas? Hey, listen, they can't say I don't clean up nice, alright? It's Asian boy summer. If you ain't got a bidet and it's like 90 degrees outside, then you're doing it all wrong. We were just taught to be clean that way. Excited to be talking about Web3 gaming. Excited to be on a space with Chin Sanity and everyone here on stage. Make sure you guys retweet the space and follow all the speakers. Let's get into it.
Let's do this. Yep, thanks for being here. And our last guest, last but not least, we have Nicholas on the behalf of Raven Quest. And good to see you, Nicholas. I believe we were on a space almost an hour ago.
Yeah. Sorry about that. I had to dip out for a meeting, so I figured that was kind of a good time to do so. But happy to be here, guys.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah, nice meeting.
Should I do a quick intro now, or are we gonna do that in a sec?
Yeah, feel free to do a quick intro. Yeah.
I'll just do it really quick. I'm Nicholas Trick, aka Niter. I'm the CEO and game director at Tavern Light Games, the studio behind Raven Quest.
Amazing. Yeah, thanks for being on the show. But I know I said last but not least, but truly last but not least, the one and only Dogelon Warriors. Dogelon Warriors, my man, how are you doing today? Oh.
I am doing good. I did have a little issue right there. That's why I was late. But thank you very much. I missed the final pieces, what you said to me, Lions, by getting all those headshots and missed those homework. Like, that was the thing I was savoring to say. Like, what is this problem here? Why is he getting headshot all the time? Come on, man. At least throw a bomb or something, you know. Do something else.
Yeah, I mean, maybe he has a big head, right? Maybe that's why.
Oh my god, that's hilarious. But Dogelon Warriors, hopefully you weren't in the bathroom, or if you were, hopefully everything was good. Anyways, okay. You might have missed it, Dogelon Warriors, but we had one guest. He was in the bathroom, and I went to him, and he's like, "Hey, can you pass? I'm doing my business." But anyways, guys. Okay, back to topic. Thanks again, everyone, for being on this amazing space, and we're just gonna have an amazing conversation about the future of Web3 gaming. But before we do, I want to lay some ground rules for this space. For my panelists and people that want to speak in the audience even, if you want to give a take, feel free to just have your hands up just like this, and I'll do my best to call on you. And also for the audience, if you would like to come up and just give a take or even have a question to our guests and our panelists, feel free to hit that request button, and I'll do my best to bring you guys up. But now let's just start with this amazing topic. So first off, I really want to unpack with my guest, as we talk about Web3 games, I really want to first lay the ground rules and just to have a clarification of the question of what makes Web3 games better than Web2 games. I'm sure we've always been saying, yes, Web3 games, they're the future, they're great and stuff, but practically, what makes Web3 games better than Web2 games? And so I want to establish that question first before we go and move on to talking about the future of Web3 gaming. And so I'm going to pass around the mic to my panelists here, and I'm going to pass it to, first off, Second World Games with Crispy Bacon, just to hear his perspective. Crispy Bacon, love to hear your perspective about this.
Well, for us, it's really about player empowerment, you know. It's about reinforcing the value propositions, the player-centric experiences that games will deliver very soon, if not already. So Web3 gaming, in my opinion, it's about empowering users to be, you know, the ones that benefit from all the interactions, from shaping the worlds they believe in. And that in itself ends up becoming a revolution because we are putting all the focus on decentralization and transparency. So the main challenge is that we haven't had a game that really reaches the masses, like a killer use case that really allows us to, you know, expand that experience to new heights with Web3. But I think we are in the road to do that, and the new wave of Web3 gaming is proving that quality is at the forefront of development.
No, I totally love that player empowerment. And I remember I was on a space with another gaming space, and we talked about how like if you in Web 2, right, if you want to communicate to the game developers or founders, that's pretty much impossible. You have to like email them, write a letter, and it takes forever for them to get back to you, right? But here in Web 3, right, whether on Spaces or Discord or just even hitting them up on DM, you could do that, or you're just part of the community, in the game, and you have a say even of how the story, even gameplay goes, and they really have that instant feedback. And so I really enjoy that take, Crispy Bacon, that player empowerment that Web3 enables. And so yeah, appreciate that take there. How about let me pass the mic around to Nicholas just to hear his take on this. Nicholas, in your opinion, what do you think makes Web3 games better than Web2 games?
Yeah, so I'll speak on it from kind of a MMORPG side more so as that's what our studio specializes in. We released Web 2 side of Raven Quest with Raven Dawn back in January of this year. Quite some success, 220,000 monthly active users on it. And with that, one of the number one issues with MMORPGs is third-party markets. It's unavoidable. Even before we officially released, we had over 1,000 mentions from different forums, gold sites mentioning our name, saying that they're going to be stocking our currency, stuff like that. And every day we get new support tickets with people saying, "Oh, I got hacked, X, Y, and Z." Few messages in, they very quickly admit, okay, they were on a certain gold site and they put in information, or they let the person on their account to boost their character, stuff like that. And I think Web3 actually really does solve a problem in MMORPGs with establishing a safe ecosystem for that kind of behavior. And so again, can't speak on too many other game genres in Web3, but MMORPGs just feel like a perfect fit, and it actually really does solve the problem.
No, that's a good take that's really cool that you guys were building a Web 2 game and now entering Web 3. I was just curious. Yeah, go for it.
I was going to say, for us, it was really important to prove what we can do in development and what our studio is capable of doing. Again, not a lot of Web3 games would do too well in the Web2 space. That's just the reality of it. Obviously, that's changing, and there's some really incredible projects coming out. But without that earning side, there's just not a ton of draw to a lot. And I think one of the important parts for us was establishing that we have a game that people want to play without earning. And they want to invest into their character and put that time in, and they enjoy the gameplay loops, before we came into the Web3 space to show that we're able to thrive in Web 2, which when it comes pound for pound in terms of a game, it's much more competitive. Of course, there's so many factors that come into a good Web3 game. But I think in the end of the day, what's going to pave the road for the future is going to be games that people just want to play in the first place, and everything else is that cherry on top.
Yeah, no, I totally agree with that, and, right now, a lot of Web3 games, again, they're in early stages, but yeah, right now, some of them are just not playable yet, right? And so, yeah, love to see, that you guys have that background in Web 2 moving to Web 3. Yeah, appreciate that take there. Let me pass around the mic as well. I would love to hear from Lenny. Lenny, love to hear your take on this. What, in your opinion, what makes Web 3 games better than Web 2 games?
For me, it would be the collaboration. Like, when it comes to Web3, we're all trying to help the space grow, trying to build together, and trying to collaborate with, all these other projects. It's not too much, of competing with each other. It's a lot more trying to help each other grow and growing the community in general. And, even with Meta Clash, we are bot apes, so we have the entire 10,000 bot ape collection in our game, and we intend to bring in more PFPs and characters in. So I think that's really what makes Web3 a lot better than Web 2. Like, it's so much easier to, collaborate with other projects.
Yeah. Do you think that's one huge, I totally agree with that, but like, when it comes to Web 2 games, again, maybe I'm not coming from the builder side. Like, Lenny, in your experience, even, like, I was just curious from your experiences, like, you see a lot of, I guess my question is, like, why do you think in Web 2 games, like, companies or publishers are less likely to collab? Is it because they're too big, they're competing with each other, or?
I feel everyone's sort of competing with each other, all about the MAU and everything. Of course, we're the same, but they don't exactly have all these interoperable NFTs that can easily be brought into another game, and we would want those players as well, right? We want them to be able to use their assets in our games, so we sort of make it a point to do so.
Yeah, no, that's a good point. And I'm sure you guys are familiar with the game, even Nifty Island, right? Even combining all these different NFT projects together into one game, right? So that's like a great example of collaboration. Speaking of collaboration in games, Meme Alliance, I know you guys are doing something very similar to that, right? Getting all these meme coin characters together, shooting each other in the head. Hopefully Dogelon shoots more than the other characters. But yeah, Meme Alliance, I'd love to hear kind of your take too on this. Like, what makes Web3 games better than Web2 games in your opinion?
Yeah, I think it's mainly what was mentioned before, that actually in Web3 you can much easier build a community, than in Web2. Like you say, right? If you need help from a big Web2 game developer, or you need help from a user, it's pretty hard to get, right? And in Web3 you have all these nice communities where you can just get in, right? And it becomes your family kind of, if you know what I mean. On top of that, I think what makes Web3 more interesting is that assets which you can buy with crypto, right? Or even with fiat in Web3, you actually own them, right? In most games in the form of an NFT. So it's an actual true ownable item. And in many cases, you're able to actually sell it as well, right? You're able to actually maybe even make money on these NFTs, right? And I think that's what makes Web3 as well quite unique, because in most Web2 games, you can only buy items, right? But you cannot sell them. You buy whatever. I think in Fortnite, for example, I think it's called bucks, right? But I'm not sure if you afterwards can sell it. I believe you maybe can, maybe you can, right? But I think you cannot. And in most Web2 games, I believe you cannot trade items. You can only trade them from in-game currency, but you cannot convert them back to fiat, right? And in Web3, you'll be able to do that. You can buy an item for MMA, and later you can sell it for MMA, and you can sell that for USDT, right? And you can basically regain value in what you invest. So I think that's what stands out in Web3. I think the main difference between Web 2 and Web 3 right now, if it's about quality, is simply budget. I think that's the main thing here. I think that, there's a lot of good projects out there, but none of these projects have the budget of, for example, Activision or, any of those large game developers, right? Because these companies, they have billions of dollars. There is no, Web 3 game out there that has that budget. I think that's the main difference right now. But, I think that I believe it was Isaac or Lenny saying that, or Nicolas, that, if we deliver together, very decent games, right? I'm not saying to compete with the big guys, right? But if we can deliver very decent games for a smaller budget, that does show that we're capable of big things. And I think that over time, more games will be developed. And I think that, people, once they understand, how those Web3 games work, right? With a wallet or another wallet or whatever integration you have, it's much more interesting, right? Also maybe even more competitive, because you can actually win something of value.
No, yeah, that's a great take. And I was just, speaking about even budgets. I remember I was listening to an interview by Jeremy Horn. He's the founder of Overworld, this pretty big game, and he was saying 50 million is just having it 50 million is just scratching the surface of producing a game. I'm like, that's crazy. $50 million. Man, definitely games are pretty expensive. And yeah, really love that take, Meme Alliance. And when you're talking about, trading in-game assets and ownership, right? That's something that in Web 2, we really don't see. We don't really have, right? That Web 3 games can enable.
Well, some games have it, but it's not the standard, right? And I think in Web 3 it is the standard. I believe that in, for example, Diablo, you're able to buy and actually trade assets for fiat, right? That there is some games where you can do it. But it's very rare, because it's for them also, I guess it's with regulations, it's not that easy, right? And since crypto is kind of still in a way an empty space, it's possible, right? Because it's actually just a token, right? It's not direct fiat. So I think that's where the opportunity lays. I'm not saying play to earn even, right? I think it's more interesting exactly play to win, to get more competition than compared to Web 2. And that's what we are mostly going for, the competitive part. Because if you have a good game, I don't think you need to actually worry if it's better than Web 2 or not. Because if you have a good game, it can connect both, right? Web 2 and Web 3 users.
Yeah, 100%. And also when it comes to in-game assets and stuff like that in Web 2, one case study, right, with Call of Duty, once with their Warzone, right? I believe, I forgot, it was a couple of years ago, they like closed that Warzone, and then people who invested in it, had skins in it, guns and all that, they're all gone, right? Because they didn't own it, right? And so that's a huge use case, I think, for Web3 games as well. And so, yeah, appreciate that take, Meme Alliance. Well, I'm gonna switch gears a little bit and hear from more of the creator side of things and consumer side of things. I know Teddy's having issues there, but before we moved on to him, Isaac, I'd love to hear kind of from your perspective. I know you're building things in gaming and as a content creator. I was just curious to hear your perspective, Isaac, about what makes Web3 games better than Web2. We'd love to hear kind of your perspective, Isaac.
Okay, from my perspective, I think is the side of marketing. I think Web2 marketing, gaming marketing is quite expensive because, recently Apple restricted data, like, for game producers to access data of their target audience. Apple recently restricted that, and that made, the marketing budget or the marketing very, very, expensive. But when you come to Web3, you can see that it's very, very easy to reach thousands of people through spaces and every other means. I remember when Overworld launched, I remember thousands of people joining their spaces. And we get this in almost for free. I think that's one of the reasons why Web3 gaming is the future. And we've seen many projects come from Web2 to Web3 to build incredible stuff. So that's my take.
No, that's a great take. And I have a question for you, Isaac, since you mentioned marketing, how like in Web2 marketing is so expensive versus Web3, you can definitely, be more savvy with your budgets. I was curious to hear from your perspective, Isaac, what have you seen that's working in Web3 marketing specifically for games?
Come again?
Yeah. Can you hear me, Isaac?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, cool. Yeah, my question for you was a follow-up question. I was just curious, since you talk about, the difference between Web2 to Web3 games is the marketing side of things. I was just curious from your perspective, what have you seen that's worked for Web3 games in terms of marketing?
Yeah, I've seen that, the cost of acquiring audience in Web3 is a bit more cheaper in Web3 than in Web2, because you can see in Web2 that the competition in Web2 among game producers is very, very high. Because you might see an incredible team, like with experts there, but these guys don't have the right reach, like the reach that they need to get to their players. But when you come to Web3, it's very, very easy to get this target audience, especially when you have a good gameplay. It's so easy.
Yeah, no, I love that, Isaac. And actually, the funny thing you bring up about user acquisition. Again, I was listening to an interview for a pretty big Web3 game, and the founder, he comes from all these like big Web2 publisher. And one thing he said, and the interviewer asked him, what made you want to get into Web3 games? And he said, one of the huge reasons why was that user acquisition. He saw that it was cheaper to get users to a game onboarded in Web3 versus Web2. So yeah, really love that take, Isaac. Yeah, definitely got my head turning as a fellow marketer myself. Well, I see a couple of hands here, and hopefully, let me go to Teddy real quick, and hopefully everything's good. His mic is working. Hopefully he's not in the bathroom. Maybe he had to go to the bathroom again. Who knows? But Teddy, we'd love to hear your take about what's the difference between, what makes Web3 games better than Web2?
Hey. What makes Web3 games better than Web2? You're trying to get me in trouble, bro. You know I'll be working on YouTube. You know I'll be working in gaming. So it's hard for me to give you too many points on why Web3 gaming is better than Web2. But there is certain aspects in terms of digital ownership, in terms of play to earn, where Web3 is looking a lot more promising in its future. At this current moment in time, regarding the things that we mentioned with marketing and budgets and stuff like that, I would like to respond and say, actually, on a Web2 side, I've seen marketing budgets and go-to-market strategies be used a lot more frugally, and spending matching KPIs more, or matching things like watch time, overall reach, and different incentive programs to be able to help micro-influencers actually grow while playing games, right? Instead of just monetary
sort of incentives of, hey, we'll give you X amount of money to play the game. There's actually way more viewership in these Web 2 games that there is in Web 3, but I'm starting to see certain Web 3 games, launchers, chains actually look at some of the stuff that we've had. So for example, I have a friend of mine who plays Call of Duty full time and is a medium-sized streamer. They were put onto the Battle.net launcher. If you've ever played any of those Activision Blizzard games, then being on the Battle.net launcher, you know there's about to be thousands of people that are launching it up every minute. And so your stream's promoted on that. I'm sure you guys have seen things on Steam, certain streams on there and stuff like that. I saw one of the launches. I don't know if it really helped anyone's viewership. I saw a few of my homies. I saw Shamgar, I saw Bryson, I saw a few others. They were on the Elixir launcher, and then I went to the streams and I was like, oh, okay. Our launchers and all that stuff isn't as popular as like a Battle.net and stuff, but it's nice that we're catching these ideas and we're starting to run with them in order to incentivize for different things, different styles of activations, and actually grow influencers and allow them to not play a game full time, but create content full time, because then they can adapt and they can play the games that they enjoy. And it could be a flurry of games rather than, only being a maxi for one and dying on that hill even when the token for the game, for example, is in the dump. So I like the direction we're headed in, and I'm super bullish on Web3 gaming. There's a couple of creators and all of that I see, in the speaker panel and also in the listeners. I love you all. And, that was my hot take.
Oh, yeah. Appreciate that perspective, coming from both the Web 2 and Web 3 sides as a content creator yourself. Yeah, that's very interesting to know that sometimes in Web 2, actually, they kind of more frugal with their budgets and all that versus Web 3. Appreciate that take, Teddy, there. Well, I see a couple of hands up, and so I believe Crispy Bacon has hands up first. So yeah, Crispy Bacon, what's up?
Yeah, guys, I really like the comment from T and from Teddy. I mean, you pointed out as well player acquisition as more efficient in Web3, and that might be the case. We are still testing it. But what I'm 100% sure is that it's much more efficient when it comes to player retention. In the end, when you give power to the players, there's many more reasons for players to be with you alongside building up your vision and your the world of entertainments that you craft together with them. So, I mean, coming from a world of open source development in my previous life, I can argue that even if our budgets are smaller, if we really unite all the power of our community members with a shared purpose, with a shared vision, there's no doubt that we are going to get that killer use case that all of the sudden onboards the masses. And then every other player from every other game title will demand the same benefits that these other guys from this other game are getting. So it's just a matter of time, I believe. We are closer than ever. And I think the market macros and the new altcoin season that I believe is going to arrive is going to help us get there.
Yeah. I mean, the emphasis in Web3 about community, right? That's huge compared to Web 2. Yeah, Web 2 games, especially the big ones, have huge communities, right? But for Web 3, the community is hardcore, man. They have maybe ownership even, right? Because they own your NFT and tokens, stuff like that. So definitely, that's a really good take.
Look at Minecraft and Roblox and how they have evolved from a community-centric development mindset. And imagine if those game studios actually gave more power to those users. So I think when we match the experience of Web 2 titles, that I think we are getting better, we are definitely gonna see communities really evolving and competing with the Activisions and all the guys you mentioned.
Yeah, for sure. Once those Web 2 brands seeing that the success in Web 3 gaming, they're gonna learn. Hopefully they're gonna learn. So amazing. Appreciate that take there. Mima Lines, what's up? What's your take on this?
Yeah, I just wanted to add one thing. I also see that, there is some bigger crypto projects, gaming platforms, being released. One of them is IMX Immutable, which we partnered up. And if you look at the way that they use their wallet integration, right? and they use generally, the games that they have on their platform, they make it super easy as well for Web 2 players, right? It's just like a simple wallet address which you kind of, connect with your email like in any game, right? In Web 2. But the cool thing is that you can buy directly with fiat. You can buy whatever token on their wallet and you can spend it directly on their marketplace, right? It really feels like a Web 2 experience. And I think something like, Immutable is probably the biggest one, and we are very happy we partnered with them. But there's more of those platforms coming out, right? And I think these platforms are going to help as well raise the bar, because they exactly focus on that Web 2 experience, turning it into Web 3, right? I mean, if you guys want to check it out, you can check the Immutable Passport wallet. It's extremely simple. And you can basically use that to connect to so many games, right? And start earning directly inside that game. So, sorry. So I think that's something that's going to help us a lot. I'm very bullish on Immutable, not only because we partnered with them, but also simply because their product is so easy to use, right? And I think that's what we need for Web 2. Web 2 participants, so to say, or players.
Nice. I was like, did you say Web 3? Do you mean Web 3 or no? Love that.
No, I mean, they make it easy for Web 2 players to get into Web 3, right? That's what I mean.
Yeah, no worries. Yeah, all love, man. No.
Yeah, I'm a bit tired.
No worries. Really like that Tech Meme Alliance. And when it comes to even like the user interface, right? Like a lot of times these Web3 games can be, or just products in Web3 can be a little difficult, right? It's like you gotta, in order to start, you gotta connect this wallet, this and this and this step. And then for Web2 people, it's like, what am I doing, right? And so definitely I agree with you. We need to have more seamless integrations, right? Or easy to onboard people. And I even think about myself. I don't know about you guys in the panel or even you guys in the audience, right? But how I got onboarded to Web3 was through NBA Top Shot. And NBA Top Shot was really simple that I can sign in, use my credit card, use my email, and there was no like interactions with blockchains or anything like that. And then that got me hooked to blockchain, and here I am, hosting spaces in Web3, so, really love that Take Meme Alliance. I definitely feel like, and it kind of segue us to the next question about the future of Web3, right? Just making things easy, digestible to understand so it could attract Web2 users. Definitely really agree with that. Teddy, I see your hand up. What's up?
Yo. I'm going to piggyback off that and going on to the next point about making things easy. So I've said this before on Spaces. I work with YouTubers on a day-to-day basis, and we make gaming content primarily for kids. You see Fortnite, GTA RP, stuff like that, Roblox content, and they always ask me like, hey, Teddy, how's your crypto scams going? That's what they call my Web3 stuff because they're, that's just how they see this stuff. But what they don't realize is now, for the past few months, I bought my UGC protocol over to Hype Unit, and I've been telling people, hey man, there's games that'll pay you to play them. These are for Kick, Twitch, and TikTok streamers. I don't say anything about Web3 to these guys. I don't say anything about crypto. I'm just like, yeah, you just have to stream it for 90 minutes and post a tweet of it. Most of these guys are actually down, especially the ones that you don't have to, make a wallet for, and it already makes one for you, and just other ways of integrating. A lot of these guys look at certain Web3 games and they're like, there's already parallels, especially when we cherry pick content creators and streamers that have similar games or play games in a similar category. So if we're doing an MMO, we'll run MMO streamers, mix of boys and girls. If we're doing FPS, that's super easy because we've already got the CSGO and COD background. And so when it comes to this onboarding, a lot of these guys that have made fun or poked shots at Web3 are now looking at Web3 and like, this is a very easy-going community, very easy to work with, tap in with, and we firstly focused micro and medium-sized streamers, but now from the rumblings and all these different things going on, like all these streamers and all these creators are friends. When they hear there's opportunities to be able to create and monetize, they're going to be streaming every single day anyway. So if they can go ahead and play a game and it's fun, then, the next day we'll get hit up by their friends like, hey, heard you were playing games, heard you were streaming games, heard you're doing this with your agency and whatnot. So in terms of getting players on board, we love the fact that, the space is moving towards all sorts of integrations to make it absolutely seamless. We just came up with our own trickery to be able to make it so that these gamers, these streamers, hey, you want to play a game? It's as simple as that. And they will do the deliverables and give genuine feedback on the games that then we can pass on to the game developers or the teams or the incubators. And again, a lot of it has to do with the wording. A lot of it has to do with the jargon. Dude, we're so full of having all these different words that sound alien to other people, but I love it. It's an awesome part of our culture, and I wouldn't get up in the morning. Dude, I'm not gonna lie, bro. Sometimes I tweet GM before brushing my teeth. Then again, I'm just a Web3 gamer. What can I do? I don't recommend anyone else does that, okay? I'm gonna be checking. I'm about to be replying to GM tweets like, yo, brush your teeth before you check your bags.
Man, Teddy, it seems like you spend a lot of time in the bathroom.
Yeah, I do. I'm gonna pass it back to you, Chin.
All love, Teddy. I'm joking with you. But no, dude, that's a really good point. And I was gonna make a joke again until I thought of the other one, but I was like, Teddy, don't people care about blockchain? Like whether you're on Polygon or Ethereum? Yeah, that's the selling point, right? That's what people care about.
Can I tell you something? One of the first YouTube networks I joined was called Machinima, right? If OG gamers know.
Oh yeah, I remember.
YouTubers.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, if you watched animations, watch Call of Duty, Halo videos, World of Warcraft, Leroy Jenkins, like Machinima was the spot. There was 3 guys that worked there. One of them was called Rishi, one of them was called Lester Chen, and the other one is called Fwiz. Fwiz is the head of Optimism. Lester Chen is the head of A16Z, you know what I'm saying? So, yeah, it's Asian Boy Summer, and Rishi, really dope guy, is head of X Gaming. Dude, normal gamers are going to be playing Web3 games or integrated into this through just the transformation of the ecosystem of gaming in general. It's going to be integrated and adopted whether people like it or not, or whether people understand it or not. It's just we're early adopters, but we understand or have the willingness to learn about this stuff. And, that learning curve actually takes a while too. So eventually when they need that education, they'll realize, oh, okay, these guys that were talking all this jargon and all these nerds, actually, they were onto something. And that's, financial, decentralized finance. That's a way of doing things differently. GameFi, SocialFi, all these other things that they're playing a part in helping us build the first steps. And, the engineers and the builders here in Web3 are taking that foundation and building something even nicer on it for us to be able to enjoy the freedoms of these things.
Love it. Love that, Teddy. And you're right. Like, I can't wait as we keep onboarding more gamers, Web2 gamers to Web3. They're going to see, what we're all about. So totally love that. Well, wow. We're almost more than halfway through the space. Again, I appreciate my speakers here, my panel guys. I appreciate you guys, the listeners, always listening here. Always, I see a lot of OGs, a lot of people I notice. So really appreciate that. And if you guys could do us a favor, if you guys could hit that bottom hand right corner, if you guys could like, comment, repost, bookmark, anything that would go a long way. And maybe in the comment, maybe put a simple GM or your favorite Dogelon GIF or Giphy, however you like to call it. Or maybe how often you go to the bathroom. No, I'm joking. But anyways, well, I want to transition real quick to this amazing discussion that we have already. And I want to kind of look towards the future, kind of what this topic we're talking about today is. And we kind of talked about it a little. Teddy kind of alluded to it, and some other people kind of alluded to it. But I was just curious to hear what, in their opinion, what is the future of Web3 gaming? And so let me kick it off with Nicholas. We haven't heard in a while, so let me kick it off to Nicholas to hear kind of his perspective on what does he think is the future of Web3 gaming.
Yeah, I mean, a little bit self-serving here, but I truly believe MMORPGs are going to be the main genre that moves into Web3. It's just such an organic fit. It doesn't feel like adding any sort of barrier to the user. It feels incredibly organic and part of the process. I think taking down those barriers as well and making sure that every step of the way they don't feel that friction of many Web3 games where they can just seamlessly play, and even engaging on the token side and stuff. There's very natural ways to do it without even them needing a wallet, until the point of withdrawal. And, I think that's going to be incredibly important for the space to make sure that people can come in, play the game and not feel any friction or even have that, in many ways, Web3 boogeyman that some Web2 gamers feel, in front of them. And ultimately, I feel MMORPGs fit that or the Web3 space so well, just with the problems that it does solve. And it's a problem every MMO faces. There's not a single MMO that doesn't have an issue with third party markets. And it's an incredibly frustrating battle. It feels like a consistent losing war. As a developer, like we put a lot of resources into dealing with it. And it's incredible that Web3 just with, in such a organic and seamless way solves that issue.
No, totally. I love that because, with MMORPGs, right, there's a lot of skins, different equipment that you can have, and Web3 enables that ownership, right? That ownership that you
Absolutely.
own.
Especially when you look at MMORPGs, like their lifespan, ideally, if you're building an MMO, they take a very long time to make. Building out Raven Quest, it's been a 7-year process. It takes a very long time to make. No matter the scope of an MMORPG, to be honest, like if you're going to be a true MMO, it's a lot of work to develop. And, so with that, you're looking at that long-term approach. You're hoping that your MMO is around for 5, 10, 20 years to come. And so I think it also changes how you design your tokenomics, how you design your rewards, how all those things around it. And I think that's really necessary or very much needed in the Web3 space. It's very different when you're building like a shooter or a card game. Oftentimes these do have shorter lifespans in terms of like their bulk user base, right? Because that's how those games are designed, and they're a lot quicker to make. And incredibly technically complex in their own way, of course. I'm not devaluing them. But they're built in a different approach, right? You're not looking like, hey, where is this going to be in 20 years? But when you're building an MMO, you're absolutely looking at that. And I think that would be, or I think it brings a unique, take on how you do tokenomics and how you make sure that it's sustainable.
100%. And man, wow, 7 years building this game. That's awesome. Looking forward to it. But yeah, appreciate that take, Nicholas. How about, let me check in with Isaac. Isaac, I would just love to hear your perspective on, from the different games that you play as a content creator and as a builder yourself. I was just curious to hear your perspective. What is the future of Web3 gaming?
Well, I think Web3 gaming is something that is going to go far in the next bull run, apart from ordinals. When you want to talk about the next narrative, you mention ordinals and you mentioned gaming, Web3 gaming. And I've come to realize that game producers in Web3 are trying to, make the gameplay more fun, because they know that without this, their games are not going to go far. So I think the future is really going to be bright.
Yeah. No, yeah, appreciate that take. And do you feel like, I think you mentioned like something with the bull run, like Web3 games going towards with the bull run. Is that kind of what you were saying?
Yeah, I said apart from ordinals, I said Web3 game is going to be the next narrative, like coming bull run, like because of the kind of funds. You can see what these guys are building. The guys at Immutable, like I always see them at what they are building is so massive. So with the kind of infrastructure and funds and everything, I think Web3 gaming is going to be the leading narrative in the coming bull run.
Got it. Yeah, totally agree. Appreciate that take, Isaac. And yeah, like again, when it comes to Web3, right, it's always about narratives, right? It's like this one day it's meme coin season, one day it's celebrity meme coins, and the other day it's, I don't know, something else. But when it comes to like that sustainability, that next big bull run or bullish topic or narrative is definitely Web3 gaming. And I'm sure you guys have seen, I forgot, it was, who said it? One of the creators, Sam. Yeah, his name was Sam, and he said, Web3 games are inevitable, right? And so, yeah, definitely love that take, Isaac, there. Well, I see a new person coming up on stage, live Twitch. So let me check in real quick with live Twitch. Welcome to the show, live Twitch. And yeah, I'd love to hear your take on, what's the future of Web3 gaming in your opinion?
Well, first of all, I want to say thanks for having me. I've been listening to a bunch of spaces with a bunch of people in here for a bit. I've never really jumped on stage. I've just been listening and observing and being educated by all you legends here. Like it's unbelievable how cool that we get to talk to a lot of people that are making an impact in this space directly, and then you get to learn from the best. And God, this space is full of a lot of Web3 moon boys and people with a lot of big scope and a lot of hopes and dreams. And you guys seem to be very humbling when it comes to the future of Web3 gaming, and you guys actually talk about the nitty gritty. That's really important. And I've been learning a lot from you guys. I want to say thank you for being such a good space to listen to. Also, too, I'm kind of a video game historian myself. I still game on my Apple IIe. I have a massive collection of boxed NES games. And Web3 gaming has been a dream of mine, just like everybody else has kind of been a dream, where it's like, hey, mom, I'm going to make a living playing a video game, right? And they're like, yeah, right. You know what I mean? They're like, yeah, right. You're not. And then now it's actually coming true, because from the first time, we played Mario, we jumped up and got that coin. We always kind of wish it was real, because when we were kids, it felt like it was real currency, And then now we're kind of like, we're moving in this space where those Mario coins and all those little things you collect, have value. And the future is obviously Web3 gaming. People cannot hide from it. What I'm really interested in is the independent developer side of Web3 gaming, whereas the budgets have been a big thing you guys talking about, and it has been a pretty crazy seeing people put out these dreams and hopes and scopes, and I'm just like, oh my god, like your scope is so insane that I don't think you realize it's going to take 7 years and millions of dollars to create. And I think in the Web3 game space, I think a lot of indie developers, small teams are trying to break out into it, but it's so multifaceted. One being the play to earn facet, obviously the economics and the tokenomics are fascinating, because I think it's akin, it's analogous to how when you balance a game's playability, right? Or if it's a pay to play where some people can buy that certain gun or that certain thing and it gives them that advantage. And I think there's a whole nother layer now on top of the Web3 gaming aspect, to now you're adding the tokenomics part, to where you don't want it to go the way of Axie Infinity, or some sort of just when it breaks at a certain point, or if you need critical mass, or how do you sustain, or how do you not give away too much in the beginning. I think that's really fascinating, and I'm here to learn from you guys what you guys think about the smaller guys trying to develop and trying to navigate this space, and what tips would you give to people trying to make, like the Stardew Valley story, how Bored Ape did his thing kind of independently. He ended up becoming large, and because he made a great game. And I'm really excited to see these games come out that are going to be from game studios first, compared to Web3 Moon Boys trying to make a game. And I'm excited to see what's coming from that.
No, yeah, totally. Yeah, thanks for being on the stage. First of all, live Twitch. You're always welcome here. And yeah, one thing you mentioned that it made me really excited about Web3 games is, you mentioned that you play a lot of these older games, right? And you're saying, like, as a kid, right, you're playing Mario and you're collecting those coins and stuff like that, but it's just in the game, right? But now in Web3, it enables you to actually own that coin, right? Or be part of that ecosystem and stuff like that. And so, yeah, that's so cool. And I'm sure eventually Nintendo is going to be into Web3, some element into it with blockchain, and really integrate Mario and the tokens. And speaking of Mario, right? That was my intro music. So love that live Twitch.
Also too, really quick, it's like, okay, so now when people are playing these games with all this nostalgia, and you guys are mentioning how do you onboard in these games with all this like friction and stuff, and that I think is akin to, how you play a game and it starts off as you don't realize you're doing the tutorial. And I think those games end up being really, really fun to play, because you learn as you go through the first round, for the first power up, for the first milestone. And I think the friction thing is really important too, that you guys talk about.
Yeah, no, totally agree. Thanks. Yeah, for giving your take, live Twitch. I see a couple of hands up. Let me go to Crispy Bacon first. Crispy Bacon, what's your take on this?
Well, I love the points of live tweets. I mean, in the end, we are shifting from a world where players are products because they play for free, but they give away their data and all sorts of things so the industry is profitable, to a world where players are the owners and decision makers, or in other words, stakeholders slash shareholders. And that really gives a lot of room for growth and evolution that I think is inevitable, as Sam often says. So, in my opinion, it's true budget is a constraint, but if we look at the open source model for software development, some communities that started very small have been able to really create the standard from every possible tech tool that we use nowadays, like from databases, operating systems, development languages. And this is really going to translate into a much bigger scale when those communities finally have incentives. And that's really what Web3 provides. And I feel these incentives are going to align communities and we are going to be unstoppable, just like it happened with other industries where a newcomer ended up leading. We've seen it in hospitality, we've seen it in mobility, we've seen it in multiple industries. This is definitely going to happen in gaming, and all of a sudden the big studios are going to have to change their mindset. I completely agree with the frictionless experience component. I don't think we need to educate so much players or users into how to play. We need to deliver the experiences they need so they don't really understand what are the tech below it. But what is really, really important is that we bring them on board with our vision. That is essentially to bring power to the players and to dominate the worlds we craft and shape.
No, totally agree that piloting that experience, right? And, you know, at the end of the day, like you're saying, Crispy Bacon, we don't really need to onboard people when it comes to games. They know how to play games, right? I mean, games are games, right? In some aspect. There's not really much difference, right? But ultimately, right, when it comes to onboarding, like you're saying, Crispy Bacon, that experience that you enable people, to have, you know, that they can have fun, you know, ultimately just playing the game. Yeah, really appreciate, that take. Mima, I see your hand up. What's up?
Hey, yeah, I just wanted to say something about what Nicholas said. He said that MMO RPGs will be the most frictionless for crypto gaming or Web3 gaming. But I honestly don't agree with that. I think any type of genre can fit very well into a frictionless experience, simply because it depends how the Web3 part is built into the game. Because in our game, it will really feel the same like you would download Call of Duty and you can buy assets, right? It's not like it's frictionless, if you want to call it that way, right? And another thing he says that shooters, they age. I also don't agree with that, because look at, you know, big titles like Battlefield and Call of Duty. Of course, they release a new game every year, right? But that doesn't mean that every year's game ages, right? Yeah. It's just that they make a better game, they make a newer version. So I think that he is right that multiplayer online RPGs are probably one of the best genres, simply because it's most played. And I think that's next to shooters probably, right? If it's about regular gamers. But I don't agree that, you know, that it can be made more frictionless than any other genre. I think that really depends on the developers that make it, first of all, because you can make it extremely frictionless, right? And the plugins you use, right? Like we have, like I mentioned, we have IMX. I mean, IMX can be used by a Web 2 person and is so super easy to use, right? And it's frictionless, right? It's as simple as logging into a Steam account, right? Really, it's that simple. And if you want to buy something, it's almost, okay, I'm not saying it's just as simple, because you need to start understanding a little bit like that you are paying money for a crypto token, which then is used to purchase an asset, also known as an NFT. But I mean, it's not difficult, right? It's really not difficult. And I think that any game can make it really, the experience can feel like a Web 2, but still be a Web 3. I don't think that's only, multiplayer, online role-playing games.
No, that's definitely a good point, because yeah, Web3 games are not just one genre. Right? There's multi different genres that can Web3 can impact, right, with the blockchain technology. And we've seen that, right, with a lot more games. Yeah, RPG, MMO RPG definitely has a stake, but we see like a lot of FPS games. We see other games, adventure games, single player games even. So yeah, definitely it's not just one single genre. Definitely agree with you there, Meme Alliance. Woo, man, we're almost done with this space. I know we only got 1 minute left. Again, guys, thank you again to my panelists, my speakers for being here, giving your takes, man. Guys, I feel like we could talk about gaming forever. I'm sure you guys could too as well for hours and hours because I just definitely hear the passion coming out of you guys. So really appreciate it, whether you're in the airport or in your toilet or just in your normal setup, you know. Web3 gaming is here to stay. And also for you guys, the audience, again, appreciate you guys being here listening. I see some new faces. I see some old faces. Again, really appreciate everyone being here. But before we end this amazing space, I want to leave some room, just for Dogelon Warriors to kind of talk about, maybe some updates about Dogelon Mars recently. I don't know if you guys seen, but like, Dogelon Mars has been kind of quiet recently and all we do is do these spaces, but as you guys know, they've been cooking. The DAO community members have been cooking. And so, I'm going to try to poke on Dogelon Warriors, see if you can give us some more alpha about these posts that are pinned up on the Jumbotron before we leave. So Dogelon Warriors, can you share anything else about these posts?
I'm really, really excited about this, Chin. I am. These new posts that are coming up has me anticipating on new things. It has been very silent. We didn't see many different things popping up of the Dogelon Mars account, but now we're seeing these tweets, and I don't know what it means, but I think we're in for something good.
Ooh. That's it?
Well, I don't know what to tell you, man. I don't. I know just as much as you. Sorry.
I'm giving you a hard time.
Yeah.
No worries, Dojo. I'm just giving you a hard time. No, it's great. But yeah, like Dojo Warrior said, I think something's gonna happen. I don't know. I have no alpha. Sorry guys. Please don't DM me. I have no idea what's gonna happen. But I know it's gonna be fun. Sorry guys. I tried. Okay. I poked the bear. I tried. I know. But he knows as much as we do, or maybe a little more. But anyways, again guys, thank you again for being on the show. Again, thank you for my panelists and the guest speakers here. Really, really appreciate it. Just talking about Web3 gaming here.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
I love you guys.
Yeah, love you too, Meme Alliance. And please, post more videos of Dogelon Mars or Dogelon shooting other meme coins, please. Okay. Come on, this disrespect. No, I'm joking. Anyways, again, guys, thank you again for being on this amazing show. We do these every Thursday at 2 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. CET. I don't know what that time is, but 8 p.m. CET. Again, guys, thank you again for joining. And yeah, we'll see you next week. Peace.